Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Omagnan Ativirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Imate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody to morning
Hare
Sunday.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Dandavat. Okay, austerity to join at 8 o'clock. So it's nice. So many of you have joined.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so today we're going to start with Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 1. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. जन्माद्यस्येतोऽन्वयादित् वितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवे मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्तत्र सर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. Beautiful verse. The chanting of these verses actually, because it is transcendental sound, so it purifies us. So it's a good habit to chant verses as well, and nicely and loudly, not inside the mind, and loudly. Others will also get benefited. So this is the first verse of the 3 verses which form the Mangalacharan of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So it's a very beautiful verse. So it starts where Bhagavad Gita ends. Bhagavad Gita ends saying that one has to become a devotee of Krishna. Now, a more complete, in one verse, complete in glorification of Krishna. Actually, it is complete, as we will see now. Actually, it talks about Krishna's position, material world, spiritual world, everything, right? Literally. So it's a very beautiful verse. So let's first read the translation. Oh my Lord Sri Krishna, where is Krishna here in the whole verse? And there is no Krishna. So this is why we have to read Acharya's commentary, because they will give us the right perspective. Oh my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, please distinguish Vasudeva, Vasudeva. Many times devotees keep interchanging this. Vasudeva is father of Sri Krishna. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living entity. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of material nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. Meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Okay, so long translation, lot of things. So we will go through the purport here because actually we will spend quite some time on this purport. If we were to finish it today, because actually this forms a platform for the whole study of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So we should, nicely enter into this purport. Purport: obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Why? Because first here Vyasadeva is saying Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Now who is this Vasudeva? It directly indicates Lord Sri Krishna. And who is that? Who is the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki? So here Vasudeva is referring to Krishna. Now, what can Vasudeva also refer to? Prabhupada here says. Vasudeva indicates the plenary portion of the personality of Godhead. Now, what is plenary portion? Plenary portion means expansion, basically, like Swamsha. So there's Amsha and Kala. So we'll talk about this. From Krishna, first Balaram is the first expansion. From Balaram, there is first Chaturvyuha. In that, there are 4 deities: Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna. So this Vasudeva, he is actually a plenary portion. So Vasudeva has two. Vasudeva can indicate 2 persons. First is the plenary portion of personality of Godhead, who is Vasudeva. Like I said, first Chaturvyuha or second Chaturvyuha also has Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And it also refers to Krishna. So here Prabhupada is saying all different forms of Lord being okay. Okay, this is also an important thing. The name Vasudeva particularly indicates the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Prabhupada is making that very clear, saying that here Vasudeva is particularly referring to son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Krishna, though it also is the name of the plenary portion of Krishna. So here, so we should understand who these prayers are being offered to. It is being offered to Krishna. Srila Vyasadeva asserts herein that Sri Krishna is the original personality of God. And all others are his direct or indirect plenary portions or portions of plenary portion. So this is Swamsha, Kala, all this technical terms, but it's basically all others, meaning any other personality of Godhead. So who are this personality of Godhead? Personality of Godhead means Vishnu Tattva. So this class is going to be, this particular session is going to be technical. So please try to understand. There are a lot of new things, maybe. So Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna, from him, and there are Prabhava, Vaibhava, then so Vilasa forms like this. There are a lot of things that Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about. Here Prabhupada is saying that everything that is coming out of him, actually they are Amsha or Kala, Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva means there. So there are 3 Tattvas. There is Vishnu Tattva, Shiva Tattva and Jiva Tattva. So personality of Godhead are all in this Vishnu Tattva category. So here Prabhupada is saying that now more details about this position of Krishna and all these different Vishnu Tattvas, etc. Jiva Goswami has explained in Krishna Sandarbha. So there is Shat Sandarbha, one can read that. And then, of course, it's also Prabhupada, it's also saying there are other Vedic literatures also which clearly explain who Krishna is. So here, Prabhupada is saying, but actually, if at all, if Lord Sri Krishna is the primeval Lord, primeval means Adi Purusha. And if any transcendental nomenclature is to be understood as belonging, so which means that if you want to give a name, if you want to give a name to this original absolute personality of Godhead, that name is Krishna. That is indicated by the word Krishna. So Krishna means all attractive. So we should understand that is why it is his Swayam Bhagavan. Bhagavan's name is Krishna. Others are also Bhagavan, but Prabhupada also gives this example of one candle lighting many other candles. The original candle is the source. Everything else is coming from the original candle. Now, can you, once all the candles are lit, can we make the difference between one versus the other? Not necessarily, but if you go into details, then you can find out. Maybe one has burnt more, one has, some slightly different color it might be giving, etc., etc. Right? So while all these Vishnu Tattvas are same, is one person. So we should not, somebody was asking me, okay, is Krishna different, Vishnu different? No, Krishna and Vishnu are not different. They are one person. Please understand this. They are one person, but because it is all coming from Krishna, but they are also different. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, gave this philosophy, Atintya Veda. Atintya, it is inconceivable. We cannot understand. Veda, Abheda, it is different, yet it is non-different. So all the Vishnu Tattva, other forms are different from the Lord because they have their own characteristics, their own gunas, their own attributes, but they are not different also because they are coming from Krishna. So, but we should not think that Vishnu is a different person, Krishna is a different person, in the sense that they're like competing with each other or something like that. No, because there are a lot of, Sri Vaishnava think, Vishnu is supreme, we think we are Krishna is supreme. Prabhupada said we don't have to go and fight on this. And there are so many people who have no understanding of Krishna or Vishnu. Let us go and target those people. Let us get those people to understand Krishna's position, Vishnu's position. Krishna is supreme, Vishnu is supreme. That is a separate discussion and it is fine. As in, somebody wants to, it is just a bhava. So we don't have to fight over it. Somebody wants to just worship Vishnu. So let them worship Vishnu. Somebody wants to worship Krishna, let them worship. But for us, because we are part of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, this is another thing. Whenever we are hearing any knowledge, we should hear from authorized parampara. We know that. And if we are initiated, then we are already connected to the parampara. Those not initiated but who are interested in getting connected to the parampara should also hear only from parampara, only the parampara commentaries, right? Or information as it is coming through the parampara. So and nobody can speak on parampara in ISKCON without referring to Srila Prabhupada, because he is the original Siksha Guru for all of so Krishna is the supreme, is the original personality of Godhead. Prabhupada is saying original. He is the main candle. Okay, we have to understand this. And out of innumerable names, Krishna is the principal. So even in the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, there are principal names, then there are secondary names. Principal names are names like Krishna, Madhava, Madhusudana, etc. And then there are secondary names like Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana. These are secondary names. So among the primary names, the principal one is Krishna. Principal one is Krishna. And Sri Krishna is always meditated upon by Paramahamsas. Who are Paramahamsas? In the renounced order, Sannyasa. There is Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parivrajaka Acharya, and Paramahamsa. So Paramahamsa are the topmost among the sannyasis. And what do? They meditate on Shiva. So we should understand what we are trying to do by doing this chanting process, we want to come to this stage of always thinking about Krishna. But of course, we are not like, so there are two types of, Gostyanandi, Bhajananandi. There are some devotees who just want to do bhajana. They don't want to do preaching. But Prabhupada's mood was Gostyanandi. He wanted to preach. He wanted all of us to preach. By preaching, we will come to this platform of meditation on Krishna. And this is Samadhi. When we are thinking only about Krishna and related topics and disconnecting ourselves from the material world around us, it is Samadhi. So this meditation happens automatically by the process given by Srila Prabhupada. It's not that we have to sit and meditate separately on Krishna. We have so many services, our sadhana, our services, everything enable us to actually meditate on Krishna all the time. That has to be the mood in which we have to do service. Now, Krishna is the cause of all causes. We know Sarva Karana Karanam. Everything emanates from Lord, and Prabhupada is saying this will be explained later. So second canto, third canto will explain creation in lot more detail than we can digest. So it will come. And like I said yesterday, Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. And for whom is this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Vyasadeva, he had attained maturity in transcendental knowledge, which means Brahmagnana he had already achieved, right? And he had already written 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutras, Puranas, Mahabharata, everything. But he was never satisfied. He was not satisfied. Vyasadeva himself was not satisfied. After having all the Vedic knowledge, he was not satisfied. So what about normal people? So they cannot be satisfied with anything and everything. That is why further verses of Bhagavatam says that Yayatma Suprasidati. What should be done for the Atma to be happy, pleased, satisfied? Suprasidati. Because Veda Vyasa was not Suprasidati, was not satisfied. And what did he do? He did not independent. Of course, he came to his mind because he was a self-realized soul. Lord reveals to him saying that what is the cause for his dissatisfaction, but he doesn't decide that is it, and he doesn't decide to act upon it himself. So what he does, he actually surrenders to his Guru Narada. Dissatisfaction was observed by Guru Narada, and he advised him the route out, which is to write on the transcendental activities of Lord Krishna. See, Narada Muni, in some sense, he actually scolds Vyasadeva, saying that are you happy writing about Brahman? Are you happy that you have distracted people from the real path by giving them sense gratification? Why? Because Vedas give sense gratification also, Karma Kanda and Gnana Kanda, which is thinking about Brahman, Shunya. So Narada Muni is asking Vedavyasi, are you happy with giving all this? No, you are not happy. Why? Because you are not written about the transcendental activities of the Lord. Now, what the transcendental activity is not there in Vedas, Sadar, Puranas, it was there, but not for Suprasidati, not satisfying the heart. That is why when we hear Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, till then we will not get satisfied. We will not even get Ruchi in Bhagavatam, in Chavanam, Kirtanam, everything. I remember first, initially when I used to chant, I used to always feel, oh, when will I finish this? When will I come to the 16th round? Of course, first initial days of ISKCON was full Josh. Like, jumping up and down, 16 round, I want to do. I'm so happy, day is amazing. And then after that, slowly we become push. Our, focus, our desire, everything goes off. And this initial is like what do those athletes use when they have to run fast? What is that word? They inject steroids. This is like initially we are on steroids in bhakti. But we should understand saying that effect of the steroids will wane off, because this is just extra mercy by Krishna for us to understand what is it that we can actually experience in Krishna consciousness. So it increases our attraction to Krishna and Krishna consciousness. But later reality sets in, and then we are having to face with all challenges, Dukhalayam. So we have to face all these challenges. Then the real test comes, and then our ruchi declines. Then we are not interested. Okay, let me finish off. Let me finish this. And mind will start getting attracted. Oh, that can be avoided. Now, this was not something that was told to us initially as when we were practicing. So this is a very important thing. This can be avoided, and it should be avoided. How it can be avoided? By doing regular association with Shravanam and devotees. We do regularly. That is why I'm very happy. Our Kannada Bhagavatam, it's been going on for more than a year now, and devotees have been consistently coming every day. Right? If they're consistently coming, consistently hearing about Krishna, automatically, naturally, attraction for Krishna will start. So the transcendental activities of Krishna, transcendental name of Krishna, because it's not different from Krishna, Krishna is all attractive. So these things associated with Krishna are also all attractive, provided we engage with that service on a daily basis. So here Vedavyas is telling, Narada Muni is telling Vedavyas, you're not written on transcendental activities. That is why your Atma is not pleased. So when we engage daily in the service of Krishna, hearing, chanting, in the association of devotees, then our Atma becomes pleased. Then we are not attracted by the glitter of this material world. And these transcendental activities are described specifically. Why Prabhupada is saying specifically? Because even in the other 9 cantos, it is indirectly Krishna is only glorified, or directly or indirectly, how we want to see, because everything is coming from Krishna, everything is happening from Krishna. But Krishna's specific forms, specific avatars, etc., are discussed in all the other cantos. But specifically, Krishna's Swayam Bhagavan Krishna's activities are discussed in the 10th canto. Now, obviously, when we hear this, we'll say, oh, I have to wait till 10 cantos to hear about Krishna in detail. Yes, but Prabhupada has given us a mercy. You can read Krishna book every day, even if you have not read Bhagavatam 9. So one must proceed. Prabhupada is very clear. One must proceed gradually by developing knowledge of the categories. So there are a lot of aspects, like there are 10 aspects in Bhagavatam which are discussed. Sarga, Visarga, like this. Right. So we'll come to that in the second canto. So one must proceed gradually. Not that, okay, I have my Bhagavatam at home, I will just skip. Okay, today I'm going to read Narsimha. Leela. Tomorrow I'm going to read something else. Tomorrow I'm going to read Krishna's pastime. It's not like this. One must proceed gradually, step by step. That is why Krishna book is there for anybody. It is natural. Now Prabhupada is saying, he's talking about now creation, and that there are inquiries. There are inquiries. So everybody has to inquire. And Prabhupada here is saying inquiries are natural for man. Because man has a developed consciousness. But if our inquiries are also limited to ahara, nidra, bhaya, maituna, then it is useless. Then we are not different from animals. But if you think about it, our mind is full of questions. Full of questions. What do I do? I mean, whole planning process, the whole thought process that comes into our mind when we are chanting, it is all about inquiries, questions. But answer to all questions is in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Prabhupada says the author of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam gives a direct answer to such inquiries. So for one of the first inquiries is, like, Krishna is the origin of all creations. Who created this material world? I see so many stars. I see this beautiful material world. I see beautiful nature. Who created? Created. Now who destroys? There's also destruction. Krishna destroys. Who maintains? Everything is Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying, though these modern atheists, scientists and all, they don't understand any of this. They just, but devotees who come to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, they can understand that Krishna is the cause of everything, creation, maintenance, and destruction. And he is the so Tene Brahma Hrida Adikave. So he is the original personality of Godhead who gave the transcendental knowledge to Brahma through his heart. This also we'll discuss. Very nice description later in the second, third cantos. But he is actually, he has the greatest intelligence. Supreme Lord has the greatest intelligence, and he possesses super most inconceivable energies. Now, I mean, why this is this we have heard a zillion times, right? But we don't necessarily completely accept this, because in our mind we are intelligent. Is there anybody else more intelligent than us? No. I'm surrendered to Krishna, yes. But I think I'm more intelligent. I will go to Krishna and say, Krishna, I have this problem, and I've done enough study, enough thinking. This is the solution. Please implement it. This is our relationship with Krishna. We have problems and we give solutions also to Krishna. Like he doesn't have any intelligence to think. So we should understand that when Krishna is doing something in our life, he is the supreme intelligent. And he has all the energies. He has all the power. He can change anything in our life like this. No, but we don't have full faith in Krishna. That is why when we are struggling with material issues, challenges around us, we keep asking Krishna, Krishna, take me out of this problem. Krishna, take me out of this problem. Like he doesn't know. Obviously he knows. But there is a reason. And the whole, only when we come to the pure mode of goodness, can we actually see the world around us, see our life and understand, oh, this is the reason why Krishna is doing this. Otherwise, we are in passion and ignorance and we cannot distinguish reality from illusion. We will be in illusion, but we will think that is reality. Meaning some mental concoction, some thought process I have created in my mind, and I think that is real. But only when we come to the mode of goodness can we understand, saying, no, this is Krishna. This is Krishna's hands. And this is the reason he is doing it. And initially we might not have this vision to understand this. And we have to, consult other devotees. That is why, this is one of the things that I keep reiterating. Please have association with devotees who are more advanced than us. We should have, because we have so many challenges. That is why sometimes it's inconceivable to think about, this Ritvik Vada and all that, where, there is nobody to guide, nobody to say, right, this is wrong. How will we make progress? And people are also very confused, saying that, is this Vaishnava aparadh? No, if somebody comes to us asking for guidance, then we can give guidance and we can say right and wrong. There is no Vaishnava aparadh. So if you go to somebody, the devotee says this is right, that is wrong, then we should accept it. And we should know there is no Vaishnava aparadh in this. In fact, there is no Vaishnava aparadh. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a paper on this, saying that, when the intention is constructive and there is some criticism, that is also not Vaishnava aparadh. But anyway, I mean, that requires a lot more maturity for us to go there but the whole thing is that we should have somebody who can guide us, because we will be faced with challenges in this material world. It's not cakewalk. Bhakti is not a cakewalk. While the process is extremely simple, if we stick to the process, then it becomes super easy. If we don't stick to the process, it becomes a big challenge. So he has the greatest intelligence. So let us be very clear. Like yesterday I was telling, Rakshishati Vishwasa, have trust. Krishna will protect. What he will do, he has the greatest intelligence. He has the most inconceivable energy. So he will do. He is doing. I don't have to worry. Like a child is super dependent on the parent and not trying to use, logic. Whether my parents will be able to solve this problem. Have they done this before? No. Just say my parents are there, they'll take care. And the parents will say, okay, do this, do that, and child will do. So our acharyas have already given us guidance, saying that, this is how we have to live life. So we live life according to that. And when there are things which beyond us, we consult. We don't go and talk to Krishna, but we go and talk to other devotees. We can also talk to Krishna, but we should not think that we are qualified to talk with him, right? And that's a very high, at least I can talk about myself. So we go to other senior devotees who have more experience than us, and Krishna will speak to us through those devotees. Many times Krishna even speaks to us through non-devotees. Krishna has his ways of getting across to us, because we are not completely pure. So Krishna will not make immediate contact with us. So through Paramatma or through pure devotees, this will come like this. So he has greatest intelligence. He will give us the direction, but we should have faith. So Prabhupada is saying all these, small things, satellite, this, that, and all. If someone normal human brain can produce all that, what about Lord, Supreme Lord? How much strength, how much potency he should be having? So reasonable person will accept this. There are stubborn atheists who would never agree, and we are not interested in stubborn atheists. They'll go to hell. Not happy about it, but unfortunately, that is their choice. And Lord himself says, I will push them into, lower and lower species. So, right? But devotees are still merciful, and somehow they will somehow try to give them some sukruti, give them, call them to some program, give them prasadam, Okay. Okay, then there is one more concept, generally, just for definition, I'm saying, paratattva, samam bonam, meaning paratattva, meaning tattva is all concepts. Paratattva is the supreme most concept, as in nothing greater than Krishna. So he's the paratattva. That is why he's called absolute truth. Now, what is absolute truth? Absolute truth means not relative truth. In this material world, everything is relative truth. One truth is dependent on the other. My seeing, it depends on light, right? If there is no light, then I cannot see. So the truth of me seeing depends on the truth of light being there. So this is relative truth, but Krishna is absolute truth. That means that there is no other truth which becomes the cause for his actions or him. He is absolute. He doesn't change, is not relative, doesn't depend on anybody else like this. Yeah, and Prabhupada is very, making very big warning. Unscrupulous persons go immediately to 10th canto and to the 5 chapters, Rasa Leela, Rasadhyay, Pancha Rasadhyay, right? Rasa Panchadhyay. So don't do this, because this is the most confidential part. Actually, Shukadeva Goswami has been, what should he say? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, he says, there is so much of rasa in, I'll talk about this rasa in the 3rd verse of this Mangalacharna. So much of rasa in Bhagavatam that actually Shukadeva Goswami is he's such a brilliant, devotee, that he is given verses in Bhagavatam which has 3-4 level meanings. So actually, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary for the first verse, this verse that we are reading, he gives 5 meanings. How this verse actually talks about various aspects. So it is inconceivable, right? So only the pure devotees can access this. And Prabhupada has not given all that, because in our generation, for us, we can't understand all this complexity at first go. So Prabhupada has given us whatever is required to actually elevate us to the position where we can understand these things. So I was saying that though there is there's only one indirect mention of Srimati Radharani. There is discussion about gopis, Raslila, etc., but not much has been exposed directly in terms of rasa, because in that gathering there were all kinds of people. There were munis, rishis, devotees, everybody. Now, obviously, these confidential topics are not supposed to be discussed in public. So Shukadeva Goswami spoke in such a way that the munis, rishis understood it in the external meaning, and the devotees could actually enter into the internal meaning. So even if we read, we will just look at it like, we will just read it like mundane, like a boy and girl, Prabhupada says, right? Like, you just look at this as some affair between a boy and a girl. So we cannot, and it is confidential, most confidential. We don't have access to it. We will get access to it when we become pure. How do we become pure? By more sadhana seva. And we have to come to that. We have to come to that stage. We have to understand this most confidential part, because that is what our aim is. So unless one is, that is why Prabhupada is saying, thoroughly accomplished in Atma Gnana, in Adhyatmika Gnana, transcendental knowledge, He's sure to misunderstand rasa dance, love affairs with gopis. This subject is highly spiritual. It is not material. It's not mundane, and it's only the liberated persons who gradually attains the stage of Paramahamsa can transcendently relish rasa dance. So Vyasadeva therefore gives the reader the chance to gradually develop this realization, which actually before relishing the essence of pastimes. So Rasa Leela is the essence of pastimes of Krishna. So that is why there are 9 cantos to build us up, to prepare us, and the whole preparation is to enter these topics, and it's glorious. It's so beautiful, right? But we have to become qualified to enter that, and the 9 cantos prepare us for that. Okay. Also here Prabhupada is saying that Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the narration of Swarupa of the Lord. So actually it is said that, those who are very materially have lot of material desires still. Like first 2 canto are like the lotus feet of the Lord. And so we have to just remain in the Lord at the lotus feet. We don't go beyond 2nd canto. If we have too much material desires, normally all of us have material desires. Otherwise we wouldn't have been in this material world. But the degree of material desires is less. But our focus is bhakti, but then these desires keep pulling us once in a while. That is okay. That is okay. But those who are running behind material desires and somehow they got to Bhagavatam, they should not. Okay, please mute yourself. They should not go beyond the 2nd canto. By consistently reading 1st and 2nd canto, they will get over this, this desire to enjoy material life, because there is nothing. Prahlad Maharaj says, "Puna puna charvita charvananam." We have already, that sugarcane juice. It's gone through that sugarcane that machine multiple times. Not even a drop of rasa is left in this material world. Not even a drop of happiness. But we are still trying, hoping, I will get this, I will get here. In this activity, I will get. And sometimes some people are just simply satisfied with just family. Simply satisfied. I'm happy. I have a nice family. What does happiness mean? We don't understand what happiness means. So we are happy with just material life. And then, when I was working, my boss, I respect him a lot. Gnani, but he didn't come to bhakti, and he had a lot of attachment to his family. And unfortunately, one of his daughters had to face some serious problems. And then he literally, I saw him crying. So much of attachment that he couldn't literally control himself. He got sucked into it. So this is the happiness of this material world, whether we like it or not. Today, everything might be looking good, but no guarantee that it's going to continue that way. And so this is not real happiness. This is not where we spend time, right? So we have to come out of this material hankerings. And so because Bhagavatam is the Sarupa of the Lord, we hook ourselves onto the lotus feet of the Lord. Lotus feet of our Lord is the first place. This we'll talk in the 2nd canto, how we have to see the form of the Lord. We have to start from the lotus feet, and we remain at the lotus feet if we are too engrossed in material desires. And then there is Prabhupada also talks about internal potency, external potency here. Cosmic world, material world manifested from external potency, spiritual world manifested from internal potency. We will discuss all these later. And here, manifested internal potency is real, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of material existence is only temporary and illusory, like the mirage in the desert. In the desert mirage, there's no actual water. So I give this example. This is what we are trying to do. In the desert, we are trying to get water, and one drop of water also gives us happiness. But we want so much water. We want so much happiness. But we are just getting only drop of happiness. But real water is somewhere else. Amazing purpose. Real water is somewhere else. We have to go get that real water. Manifested cosmic creation appears as reality. See, this we should understand. It doesn't mean that this material world doesn't exist. It appears as reality means reality which is permanent. See, in spiritual terminologies, reality is permanent, something that doesn't get created and destroyed. Because whatever we are seeing, if you are seeing a tree, that is not real, because it will be there for some years and it will go. Next time it will change, something else will come. So it's not permanent. But whatever is there in the spiritual world is permanent. And this is just a reflection of that reality. So when we see something in a mirror, we actually cannot make out which is real, which is reflection. So we might be seeing the reflection and thinking it is real. So Prabhupada is saying, this is just a reflection, and it is a perverted reflection, and it is temporary. So it is an illusion created for conditioned souls to get stuck here. Why? Because we want it. We want to get stuck here. We want to try to enjoy life away from Krishna. So Krishna has created a beautiful reflection, perverted reflection. We cannot even make out that there is something original. There's an original object which is reflecting in this mirror. It's so inconceivable that we cannot really conceive of the fact that we are stuck here, that this is an illusion and I'm stuck here. It looks so real, looks so dear to our heart. But this is all temporary, and it is just to present an illusion of reality to the bewildered mind. Bewildered mind means what? Because we want to enjoy independent of Krishna. And this illusion is giving us exactly what we want. The chief engineer does not personally take part in the construction. What is saying, see, Krishna, everything is coming from Krishna. He is the supreme engineer, but he doesn't, and he knows every nook and corner, but everything is carried out by his energies, demigods, etc. So he is not literally involved everywhere. Everything is running. Yesterday we were having some discussion. One devotee said, how can the Lord sleep? If the Lord sleeps, this whole material world will be destroyed. I said, what do you mean? Lord is a person, so he will sleep. But he is the supreme person, so he has his energies which are, even when he is sleeping, taking care of this material world. Just like Prime Minister sleeps every day, but the country is running. It's not like the country will get destroyed. So Supreme Krishna is so inconceivable that actually it says that Krishna is not interested in this material world. As in, he knows that this is a jail. Who will be interested in jail? So he just created this jail, material world, and he said, okay, fallen souls have to be rectified. I will send them here. So Durga Devi, you please take care of it. And he also doesn't have time. He doesn't have time for these material universes. He is engrossed in his pastimes. So the energies are taking care. But part of his pastime are also his devotees. So when the Lord is also looking at the devotees in the material world, here, all these devotees are there. They're hearing and discussing, glorifying me, on a Sunday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. So Lord is pleased, right? But he's not rest of the material world saying, "Okay, chalo, chal raha hai." I'm not like too bothered. Of course, then as Vishnu he maintains, so he is also bothered that way. But Swayam Krishna is not very interested. And everything emanate from him. We're all spirit souls coming from Krishna. And Prabhupada is saying, chemists can manufacture water, etc., but he cannot generate life, and that is given only by Krishna. And Krishna is Swarat, he is supremely independent. Nobody can enforce anything on him. At the same time, he is all-knowing. Abhigna, he's all-knowing. He knows everything. Full minute details, up to the minutest details, he knows everything. He knows past, present, future. He knows everything. And then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, but nobody knows me. And Krishna is, sadly telling that, saying nobody knows me. I know everybody, but nobody knows me. Means he wants all of us to know him. How will you know him? Through Shravanam. And we should know him. Krishna will become very happy when we know him. And this is the beauty about bhakti. It is so personal, so, it's such a beautiful relationship. It enables us to establish with Krishna. We cannot find an equivalent anywhere else, right? And that is why it is Susukham. It is so happy, so happy. It gives us so much happiness. None of them is independent. Supreme Lord is the independent. Everybody else is dependent on the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So Brahman is the cause for creation of this material world. Actually, we will also discuss this also in the second canto. But that Brahman is just coming from the body of Krishna, light coming from the body of Krishna. So Krishna is the source of everything. So here Prabhupada is saying, because Krishna gave intelligence to Brahma, Vyasadeva is not worshipping Brahma, but he is worshipping Supreme Lord who guides Brahma in his activities. So we should understand everybody's position, right? Abhigna Swarat, so we discussed this. And Krishna is all perfect. You know, there may various qualities of Krishna, which will 64 main qualities are there, which we will discuss when we come to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's beautiful. And Krishna is all perfect. Whatever he does is perfect. Means nobody can say, oh, why Krishna did like this, you know. Didn't seem like a good decision. Nothing can happen like that, right? Prabhupada is saying he's all perfect. He's produced creation from which the male and female forms of different types of machineries go on producing innumerable similar machines without God's further attention. So he's saying if somebody like atheist says, okay, God is no more expert than a watchmaker here. God is no more than a watchmaker. But Prabhupada is saying why? Krishna has created machines which can themselves create more machines. Can you get two watches, keep them side by side, and let them create a third watch? Not possible. Krishna has created these material bodies, which are devices, but with such ability that they can actually produce a third entity, as in third jiva, third body, right? So this is the power of Krishna's creation. It's so unbelievable, right? And Krishna is asamordva, which means no one is equal to him or greater than him. So unless one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he will be bewildered. So the first verse, that is why it's saying Krishna's position, surrender unto him. And only such an intelligent person can become a Mahatma, great soul. Okay, then there is some discussion about Mayavadi scholars arguing that Bhagavatam was not compiled by Vyasadeva, etc. Prabhupada has refuted it here. Okay, now just last two paragraphs I'll want to complete. Okay, here there's one little trivia. So there's reference to Bhagavatam in the other Puranas also, where it is clearly stated this work was finished in 12 cantos, which include 18,000 slokas. In the Padma Purana, there is a reference to Bhagavatam in a conversation between Gautama and Maharaja Ambarisha. King was advised therein to read Śrīmad Bhagavatam regularly if he desired liberation from material bondage. Under the circumstances, there is no doubt about the authority of Bhagavatam. Okay, that's what. No, this is something which we might not completely understand. Don't worry, but I'm reading it because it's important. Prabhupada has written it in the first purport. It's unimaginable. You know, sometimes Prabhupada writes some things that devotees, like, we take years to even understand it, and he just writes it. So it's okay if you don't understand. You can ask questions. To whatever extent I understand, I will explain, or we will actually take this up in the 10th canto when we come there. Okay. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically deals with the original and pure sex psychology, Adi Rasa. Now, please understand, when we hear this word, we have a perverted understanding of this. So don't use your perverted understanding to understand this. So use this word instead, Adi Rasa. Okay, just for now. But this, what Prabhupada has written here is the perfect translation for this. But for now, we will use this word Adi Rasa. So he says that Chakravarti, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is the Rasa Acharya for us. He helps us to understand the rasa in all of Krishna's leelas across all cantos. And what this rasa is, we'll talk about, right? So he's saying this is the original and pure psychology. Whatever is seen in the material world is perverted. So just hold on, right? The whole material creation is moving under the principles of sex life. This we all understand. In modern civilization, sex life is the focal point of all activities. Wherever one turns his face, he sees sex life predominant. There is one Ajamila and, then, right, one prostitute, one Shudra hugging each other, etc. He saw and his mind was disturbed about today's world. And unfortunately, the culture is becoming worse and worse. So previously, I was just thinking the culture used to be such that, when we will hear this in the 10th canto, actually, even in Krishna book, Prabhupada says, when Krishna was born, then Nandotsav, each one was like throwing butter, milk, and, all these things on each other. And actually, Prabhupada says that, their like bodies were revealed like that. And Prabhupada says when somebody hears this, he will get attracted towards sex if his mind is contaminated, because it is a pure activity. So, but because our mind is so contaminated by this, because everything literally, at one point of time I was, of course today we don't see TV and all that, but newspaper, you can't open the newspaper. It's all obscene, right? So it is absolutely sex life is predominant. And so we become so worried about what kind of, how our children get, what kind of association they get, what kind of exposure they get in this miserable material world. And so that is why anything we think about, we see Radha and Krishna, our only thought process is this, perverted. So Prabhupada is saying, therefore, now sex life is not unreal. Its reality is experienced in the spiritual world. The material sex life is but a perverted reflection of the original fact. This we should remember. Okay, now if we are getting attracted to the material sex life, we should understand it is perverted. We should get attached to the original pure sex psychology, Adi Rasa. Okay, and this is what 10th canto enables actually. The original fact is in the absolute truth, and this absolute truth cannot be impersonal. So everything that is there, that is experienced in this material world, is coming from Krishna. So there is nothing impersonal. He cannot be impersonal. If all these qualities are there in us, and we are living entities, we are personal, how Krishna can be impersonal? From whom all this Adi Rasa is coming from? It is not possible to be impersonal and contain pure sex life. Consequently, the impersonalists have given indirect impetus to abominable mundane sex life because they are overstressed. Overstressed. They overstress the impersonality, and so they can't understand all this. Consequently, man without information of the actual spiritual form of sex has accepted perverted material sex life as all in all. There's a distinction between the sex life in the diseased material condition and spiritual sex life. So this we will not go into more details now. We will discuss this when we come to the 10th canto. If Krishna wills, we will discuss this when we come to the 10th canto. Also, many places I am going to also support our discussion with, where to whatever extent I have read and understood Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on various aspects, that we will come to where required, right? Especially 10th canto, I will touch upon. Other cantos, I am not read it so much that I know. A few very critical leelas where I have referred to his commentary, I will discuss that. Okay, so Śrīmad Bhāgavatam will gradually elevate the unbiased reader to the highest perfectional stage of transcendence, Krishna Prema. Okay, it will enable him to transcend the three modes. So Krishna says, Traigunya Vishaveda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjana. What is the way to become Nistraigunya? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. That is why I was saying it's extremely powerful. I mean, in my own personal experience, that couple of years back, when Corona started, because of work from home, I somehow, I used to have a lot of time. I used to have fixed time meetings, my nature of my work then. So I used to just start at 9 o'clock and just keep reading Bhagavatam. Okay, 10 o'clock I have one meeting, 10 to 10:30, 10:30 again start reading Bhagavatam. Then 11:30 I have, or 12:30 I have another meeting, 10:30 to 12:30 I read. Then that meeting gets over 1:15, 1:15 to 2 o'clock I read. Like this, I used to read for 3-4 hours. Then afternoon I used to spend doing my work. Anyway, because I was reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam so much that it really made a huge change. It made a huge change in, my consciousness, what I want, everything. So Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is super, super powerful. Why that Nityam Bhagavata Seva I'm stressing. If anybody is serious in Krishna consciousness and you are getting stuck with material consciousness, problems around you, difficulties, etc., just dive into Bhagavatam and read. Don't just do Shravanam. The idea of my Shravanam is to give you inspiration to read, to know that, okay, there are so many things. There's so many things. How much, this purport I covered in 1 hour, but we can talk about it for 10 hours. Right? I mean, we can, all Bhagavatam is this. So we should understand there is so much of depth of information. So we read, and just by hearing process, we should understand this. Even if you are not able to process many, like, Madhuri Mataji was saying, Kannada, I don't understand. I said, just hear. Prabhupada once he was giving a class in Hindi, or Bengali, and his, Western disciples, they were getting up and going. He said, why are you going? He said, no, we are not able to understand. He said, just hear. It's transcendental sound. It will purify you. So just hearing this, whether we are really understanding or not, still it will purify. It will purify. So it's amazing. It's extremely powerful. Please, please, please do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We are doing this only 2 days a week. But you please, for the remaining 5 days, you will read. These 2 days you can use as, Shravanam, because I will go into reasonable detail. So it's not like a general class. So I will go into details. So we will discuss a lot more details. But you should also read. Only when you read, you will actually experience that rasa, and there will be a change in heart. There will be a change of heart. So this is a beautiful first verse, Mangalacharan. So I will stop here. If anybody has any questions, you can kindly ask. Grantha Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yeah.
Prabhupada has written that if one is successful in chanting Gayatri Mantra, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. And he also says that either chant Gayatri Mantra or achieve Brahminical qualities. So how to understand that? Like, is it so is it like that one who is second initiated, he is only ideally supposed to enter into the transcendental position?
Yeah, I mean, easy to understand. Actually, not easy to understand. I was speaking about this with Madhur Gaurang Prabhu. So, see, basically 2 things here. Everybody has the opportunity to chant Hare Krishna, right? So actually, for chanting Hare Krishna, it's not mantra diksha, right? Whatever diksha we are taking is more to come under a person Bhagavata who can twist our ears. But we are chanting Hare Krishna from day one. Mantra diksha is when Guru gives a mantra. Till then we are not chanting that. We don't know what that mantra is. Then we start chanting. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not mantra diksha, right? So we are chanting, and then we just take initiation, mostly Harinam initiation, which was introduced by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, just externally to tell everybody, saying that once Harinam diksha happens, don't consider the background of individuals, because at that time there was distinction saying that you're Brahmana Vaishnava, you're Shudra Vaishnava. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, no Brahmana Vaishnava, Shudra Vaishnava, it is offensive. Now once Diksha, Harinam Diksha happens, everybody is equal. Everybody is a Vaishnava. So that is he introduced. But actually, traditionally it is Mantra Diksha only. Mantra Diksha is Brahmin initiation. And without Brahmin initiation, one cannot become a Vaishnava. Whether we get initiated or not, we have to at least live like a Brahmana. Right? So Brahmana initiation is mandatory. And with Brahmana initiation, Gayatri Mantra, we chant Gayatri Mantra. So this Gayatri Mantra, actually, like I was saying, I was talking to Madhur Gaurang Prabhu. He's telling me, Prabhu, you take Brahmin initiation. I said, I'm not qualified. He said, see, actually, it takes us to the next level of sadhana. It actually gives us more power to deal with more material world around us. So it will actually, Gayatri Devi will give us that mercy to actually connect to Supreme Lord. So it is actually very powerful, and we have to come to the Brahminical stage. We have to accept Gayatri mantra. We have to chant, and we will actually, then it will empower us more than where we are today. So it is a very important stage, but unless there are qualifications, we should not go for it. That is the thing that I tell everybody. Don't go for Brahminical initiation if you're working, if your vritti is a Shudra, is that of a Shudra, as in, is like that of a Shudra, meaning we are getting money by working in a job, or we are we are a Vaishya, we are businessmen, or we can't become, we have to come to the Brahminical stage, live life like a Brahmana. Then we can do all this, because see, then actually it will empower us to get there. And see, whether if we are not able to achieve this in Grihastha Ashrama, we can definitely achieve in Vanaprastha, because in Vanaprastha there's no vritti. There's no occupational duty. So any which way in Vanaprastha, one has to come to Brahmana. One has to become a Brahmana. But whether somebody can become a Brahmana in Grihastha depends on your vritti and guna. But it is absolutely important. Please note, very important question. Thank you for asking, Prabhupada. That one has to come to this platform. One has to come to this platform.
And it is written that Lord actually is conscious of everything, either directly or indirectly. So when it is said indirectly, it is like through the agency of demigods, right?
Energies, demigods.
Yeah, but it is not like he is indirectly aware that somebody tells him. He's
No.
Right?
He's just aware. Yeah.
That was a small clarification.
Good.
Thank you,
Good. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Hope you read the purports. If you read the purports. Yes, Harnath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Well, actually, we have to chant verses very nicely and loudly. Yeah, you can, for me it is very tough. I don't know, I cannot pronounce also. Can you take any extra session how to read verses, something like
that? We'll do that. Just let's start this continue of classes, then whatever additional requests are there, we will accommodate. We will plan.
Thanks, bro. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. We end here. Are we getting the rasa of Bhagavatam? Actually, this is the beginning. But Bhagavatam is so nectarian that, we will, after few classes, you will understand, I don't want to stop Bhagavatam. Sometimes Bhagavad Gita might seem very dry. Bhagavatam is full of rasa. It's so beautiful. Rasamalayam, this is. So just all that, I pray that Krishna and, Guru enables me to continue these classes, and, everybody, rest of us have to just make it a point to be here. Right. So that is your priorities. Like yesterday we had 23 people, today we have 15. I am fine even one person is there. I have no problem, because it's for my purification that I am, glorifying. But it will benefit. It will benefit. Okay. So we'll stop here.